Good morning, everyone. Lucy and I, she's up there in front of me as always. Lucy and I are walking the big loop this morning, getting our hour walk in before the day starts. And I thought about actually going over to Mill Hill this morning. It's about a 10-minute walk just to get to the brook and cross the brook and to get into Mill Hill and the trails over there, which are really nice. And I haven't been over there for quite some time, but decided that I wanted the routine of the Lucy Loop. I think there's something to be said for that as well. And Lucy knows exactly where we're going. It's a gorgeous morning. It's August 30th, Friday, August 30th, I guess. And to me, we're coming into the best time of the year. The next 2 months are my favorite time of the year. The bugs are gone. For the most part, the humidity is gone. We have crisp, clear air in the mornings for sure. It was down to, I think it said 7 degrees when I got up this morning. First time in single digits since the spring. And I'm sure you're feeling it too. Have you noticed it? Have you noticed the crispness? And the evenings, the sun setting earlier a little bit each evening. It gets late early, as Dad used to say. It gets late early. But it's a beautiful morning. The sun is shining. And I look up at the North Mountain in front of me. I'm starting to see that change in hue, the changing colors of the hardwoods up there. It's a variety of greens, of course, as always, but just a little bit of a dullness to them. And here and there poking out, I see some orange and red and kind of that rust orange brown color of a few trees. And we're going to see that more and more as we get farther and farther into autumn. But yeah, it's nice to be out here. And I try to walk, of course, every day. Most days I do. Some days other things come up where you have other plans, and that's fine too. But I've always been a walker. I've always enjoyed being outside. When I was a kid, growing up in Centerville, near the base of the mountain in Centerville, I'd just disappear in the woods, either in the little gully behind our house or farther across in back to the west to a large block of woods for 2-3 hours at a time, and just playing around in the woods, playing with sticks, playing in a brook, following an old path. Great fun. Checking out the pond maybe. And yeah, still I love getting out in the woods or for a nice walk along the shoreline. I'm going to change hands here. Hope that sun's not too bad for you. I'll be changing direction here momentarily. And for me, yeah, it's, as I said before in one of my previous videos, it's the physical fitness aspect is nice, but I never really thought of it that way. Certainly not as a kid. You're just being a kid. But to me, I've discovered over the last, number of years, it's more about what it does for my mental health. And yes, in a sense, my spiritual health too, I suppose. It gives me clarity. I enjoy walking with others, so you're welcome. I'm not huge on big groups. 2 or 3 others is great, who I'd consider friends, which would be a lot of you folks. But I also enjoy my solo time. can hear the blue jays up there squawking. Blue jays are quiet through the summer, I noticed. They came out the feeder a lot in the spring and the winter. In the summer, they kind of retreat and find their own food in their own habitat. But yeah, perhaps now that we're getting closer to fall. Yeah, you hear that? That's cool. That they're starting to make their presence known a little more again. Love it. Anyway, so walking's been good. And I met with a couple of friends yesterday for coffee, which was really nice. And they're dealing with a lot in their lives now too. We talked about a lot of things. One of the things we talked about was walking. And they know that I walked in some of the most difficult days I had. I walked. I'd walk either from the house or I'd find a special place for me and I'd walk. And it let out a lot of my anger and frustration and grief that I had at the time. And it helped. Walking has always helped. I always feel refreshed from walking. It clears the air, clears the head. And I think a lot of us as adults, I say us, in the adult world, we look back at our lives and arguably things haven't gone as planned. I certainly didn't expect my life to go like this. I love where I am right now. I love who I'm with and where my life is going. But yeah, 30 years ago, well, heck, 10 years ago, I didn't see any of this coming at all. So things happen in our lives. I lost my father unexpectedly when I was 23. He was 57. Of course, I lost my wife when I was 52. So maybe loss had happened that you didn't see coming, or divorce, or mental health or struggles with physical health, maybe a loss of a child. I know folks that have had to deal with the unexpected loss of a child, and I can't even go there in my head. It's too painful to go there in my head. I can't imagine. It'd be the worst. I get emotional even thinking about it. But I think it's how we deal with those unexpected, often abrupt changes in our lives that really shapes us. And sometimes we recognize how it shapes and affects us, and other times I don't think we do so much. Like for years, I don't think I really recognized perhaps the role that the death of my father had played in my life, in my 20s and 30s, and even into my 40s. I think about it a lot now, I'll tell you. And as I've gotten to this point in my life, I do a lot of thinking. So people, I think, wonder sometimes what I do with all my time. One thing is I spend a lot of time inside myself. And just determining how I got where I am today. I don't mean necessarily physically got where I am. Oops, sorry for the finger. That's not going to work right that way. But how I got to this point. In every other aspect. And I would say in the last month and a half, 2 months, I found myself in an even better place. Because I thought I was in a pretty good place, and I was in the past 8, 10, 12 months or so, really. But I also knew that dealing with all of the aspects of the estate were wearing on me, and once that had all finally got cleared up, end of June, yeah, I mentally felt a weight off. And I feel more clear, more purposeful, and that I'm really at a new point in my life, and a good point in my life. But I need to get all that behind me. It's a lot of work. Certainly in my case it was. There was a lot of aspects to it. But I'm happy where things are now with the estate and with myself. And yeah, I kind of alluded to it the other day, but I find I'm rediscovering who I really am. And what I really do value. And I value, well, as I said to my friends yesterday, joy, and choose joy. I value joy, I value caring and kindness. Everybody's going through something. Some it's more obvious than others, that's all, but everybody's going through something. So I think kindness goes a long way. I'm not saying I'm very good at it all the time, but I try to recognize it. And I think it's important to put it out there that it's okay to be caring and kind. And I struggled with that, I think, a lot all my life too. I was never your stereotypical guy. And again, looking back, reflecting back, I struggled with that a lot. But at a point, I think now, where I accept who I am and how I am. I'm okay with that. But just know that we are all dealing with something. We all have a pack on our shoulders, on our back, an invisible pack. And for some folks, it's weighing them down, some days more than others. So you can lift people up a little bit. I'd suggest you try doing that. Yeah, I'd suggest you try doing that. We're coming up near the road here in a minute. I gotta rein in Lucy a little bit. Hi, Lucy. Yeah, good girl. Hold up. And we'll continue this perhaps another time. If you're able to get out for a walk, enjoy the day.